Up anything.
Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola website. I'm David Porter. I'm here with Mike Carroll and Bill Englehart, and this is now a function of the new County Chronicle, the new Douglas County paper, but we're still Tuscola and Remembering Tuscola, so we'll focus on that. What's going on?
Rainy day.
I was your new paper, which is all the county towns except, I guess, Newman and Atwood still have their own paper.
Well, Atwood is served by the Record Herald News, which is one of our publications, and then Newman has
Newman Independent,
which is not
They've
ours.
always been independent.
David, I told you I take the Oakland paper because I like to read Donnie Douglas, who's a writer down there. He's like you. He's a funny guy.
Who's been dead for a while.
Been dead for a long time, but they're running his old stories. He reminds me of you. He's very funny. And
funnier than I am alive.
Yeah. You'll be revered once you die.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is I miss a dedicated small town paper. All these towns in Douglas County are proud. Newman's proud. Villa Grove, everyone's their own paper. So I saw the new paper with trepidation, but I will say this: it's amazing what towns you know and don't know. I'm like Bill. I'm a lifelong resident of Douglas County, and I ran for public office in Douglas County. I know most of the people in certain towns, but I guess I know people in Arcola better than anywhere because I really enjoyed reading the Arcola stuff. I know everybody in the paper. Their Hall of Fame, I loved reading their Hall of Fame articles on everybody. Porky Clark, go back a long way, and Jack Fish, a lot of stories. And so those names just resonate. And a lot of the Villa Grove guys I know, like Larry Signer's moved out. I'm not quite as familiar. The old Atwood guys, some of the old guys we knew in Arthur and stuff, they're kind of, but Arcola people just didn't move, or they're still there or something. Tradition in Arcola is tremendous. The Gear brothers and all the stories about the Gears. So yeah, I actually enjoyed reading the Arcola news. I'm glad to see you still out of the past for Tuscola.
There'll be more Tuscola.
Your editorial writers are heavy Villa Grove and Tuscola, heavier Villa Grove than Tuscola, but that came from your merger with Villa Grove because they had a lot of editorial writers.
Well, the column writers, Tony Hooker's column is usually Villa Grove centric. Then
so is Amy's, isn't it?
What's that?
And Amy a Villa Grove gal?
Well, Amy grew up in Tuscola.
But she wrote for the Villa Grove paper, didn't she?
Right, but she's not right. But she lived in Villa Grove for a while. I think she lives in Tuscola now. But
who's the other guy that writes?
Amy's a classmate of mine, and her column this week was about our reunion. So that's about
class of '83. What was her maiden name?
Ellington.
Who else writes over there?
She's Dr. Ellington's sister. So
their dad worked at the telephone company.
Who else writes besides Tony Hooker? Who's the other?
Well, we've got Sherry Sims, but she lives in Mattoon, and her late husband was an ad rep for us.
Okay.
And then Buckley writes every other week, so he'll be in next week.
And I didn't know if Arcola's ever had a guest editorialist down there in Arcola that likes to write, or
Arthur's got a couple columnists that write about Arthur. They've got Town Talk and Arthur Through My Eyes, and then they've got an Amish column that Millie writes, and her stuff appears in the News Gazette.
I read her stuff in the News Gazette. Arcola used to be famous they used to have famous letter writers. One was the Country Bumpkin Williams that ran the bowling alley restaurant. Jim Williams, was it? Or
yeah.
Call him the Country Bumpkin. And I remember my good friend Mark Betty started writing some letters that he got mad at Arcola City Council, and Jerry McCoy would go, "There's the Country Bumpkin." He was the new Country Bumpkin. Arcola always had a lot of fun with their people.
David, Carolyn Cloyd has written such nice pieces on veterans from Arcola, do you suppose she's going to be looking at things or at people from the surrounding communities now with the Chronicle?
Well, I expect she'll still be heavy on Arcola, but she does, as you said, a lot of times it branches out beyond Arcola, and she'll
Mhm.
continue to write.
Good.
She's just been really busy and hasn't had a chance to.
I'm sure she has.
You know, Pat Monahan's a really funny guy. I think he'd write a column every now and then.
You know, I was just thinking I should ask Pat if he'd be interested in doing that. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is.
So,
Well, you're ready to see some pictures. Anyway, I'm glad you're off the ground. I know that was a lot of work to merge all those together.
it's a lot of work, and hopefully, you know, people will give it a chance to
Yeah,
see what
Yeah.
I come up with.
Give
and
it a chance.
so,
yeah. Like I said, I got a kick out of that. Did you like reading about Jack and
Oh, yeah,
I've
always read those Hall of Fame things. So I go on Arcola's Alumni Association website. You know, they have their class reunions and they have their Hall of Fame and all that.
you know, Bill, David, Arcola took out an ad and they thanked the sponsors for their Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Don Fortney. One was Jim Fortney. You think that's our Don Fortney?
That's our Don Fortney
His
because,
dad's an Arcola guy.
yeah, Arcola and family.
Jim was a track star down at Arcola, his dad.
Yeah, in the early 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's our Don.
And that was his brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well,
there's about 5 Fortneys that gave to that.
Well, that was nice of them to do.
Yeah. So that's the old Arcola name then, the Fortneys.
Mm-hmm. Fortney is Arcola name.
Well, I saw Don there and I said, I wonder if that's,
Mm-hmm.
when I say our Don, I mean Tuscola's Don.
Tuscola Don Fortney.
we've got a lot of pictures to get to. If
Well, let's get to them.
Whoa.
we don't get,
I told you we'd be short. You
Yeah.
just kept talking. You just kept talking.
yeah, it's always me.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's about time you acknowledge that.
Never are quiet.
Yap, yap, yap.
Well, I think if we don't get through all of them, we can finish them up next time. But
By the way, I liked your column. I liked your part where on the pants, who wears the pants, but she has the pockets.
he wears the pockets.
I thought you were going to use the famous line of, by God, I'll show you who wears the pants to that family as soon as she gives them back to me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Picture
Well, I
one
think,
coming up.
Well, I think the she wears the pockets line. I think that's a George Goebel line.
Can I give you 2 other famous George Goebel jokes?
Well, I know
Why
which
not?
one. The brown shoes.
Yeah, I feel like a pair of brown shoes and a black tuxedo, or I feel like an off ramp and the whole world's an interstate.
Yeah. He was a funny guy.
He
So
was.
It was genuinely
It was
funny.
great. Flat
let's
top.
see if we can.
You land a plane on his head.
Mhm. Okay,
Some of these are a little older than
us?
what
There's Mickey Melton, second from right.
we usually do.
Boy, that is Mick Melton.
Second from right is Mick Melton, my class who's passed away, I believe.
Well,
Yeah.
look
that
at
was like-
look at his pet that he brought.
Yeah, it's a raccoon. That's what's been our attic. And that looks on the far left looks like Renee Allen, but I don't know. Yeah, this would have been 1956 or 7.
Probably
fourth grade,
Probably about then.
55.
Yeah.
Yeah, pet raccoon. Okay, now we're getting some places.
Golly, that guy's holding a goose.
That's
Yeah.
Schaefer. That looks like a Schaefer. Is that Jimmy Wright here with the hat?
Can't tell.
Second one in from the right looks like Jim Wright. I don't know who the little girl is. Well, somebody brought a great big, is that a dog, you think?
Might be. Huh.
Well,
Do you have any comments on these?
You know, I haven't looked, so I don't have it up yet. Let me
That's funny.
yeah, see if you can pull those up. I'm curious if we guessed anybody there. I know Mick Melton for sure. So
Okay. We'll
Go
pause
back to that
this so I can call him up. You want to go back to that first?
Yeah, go back to the first one. We thought Mickey Melton second from right, and I think far left could be Renee Allen.
And Ronnie Atkinson said he thinks, is that Wendy Warren in the middle?
Don't know,
Don't know.
And he thought the guy next to him was a Milton.
Jesse or Mickey Melton.
Yeah, that is Jesse Melton.
And one guy brought his pet crate.
His pet
Yeah.
crate. Maybe there's something in it.
Well, maybe. Or
You know, you wouldn't be able to do that in school today.
I think the second from the right is Jimmy Wright.
Is this is that a dog or a goat?
Well, I think it's a dog. Could be a goat. Is that Jim? Anybody think that's Jim Wright?
Well,
Gary Brewer said Jim Wright, Alan Mitchner on right.
There you go. They were neighbors, Mitch and Wright.
Danny Matthews says looks like Dick with the duck.
Dick Schaefer.
And Sister Sue says, yep, sure is.
yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, let's keep it up. Well, that of course is my dad when he got back to the Navy. They beat him up pretty
What a
bad.
great picture.
That is.
Oh, that's super.
That's Paula and Holly Smith
Up that
and their dog Candy.
And who was that?
It's Paula and Holly Smith and their dog Candy.
Oh my goodness.
And
Doc
their
Smith
dad's
must-
World War II Navy uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doc Smith's daughters. Oh, that's neat.
Well, that's the Brannon twins.
That's
Branahan or Brannon. They were twins back in
homecoming.
55, 56, 57. Don't know who's in the middle. What were their names? They were twin girls.
Bonnie Schultz in the middle, Armstrong twins. Shirley Quinn said she thinks.
Armstrong.
Okay.
One, they lived out east of town.
That's Bonnie Schultz. I mean, who?
Bonnie Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
Chubb
Bonnie-
Cox says three of his favorites, Jane, Bonnie, and June.
Jane and June.
Jane and June
My
Armstrong.
mother worked at Carpenter's. Rick Gibson and I worked out there on the Armstrong Brodus Farms.
Now is Bonnie?
One of them married Ware.
Is Bonnie Schultz the Bonnie Weatherford that sang at the?
No,
Who am I
I don't.
thinking of?
I don't know.
What was the Weatherford girl's name?
Oh,
Was it Bonnie?
she was a Schultz.
Yeah,
But
on the
that
left.
didn't look like her.
On the left looks like Max Albritton. The third one in, holding a dog with a cap, looks like Denny Stewart.
Now in the back, there's a man in a suit, bald, that looks like Roy Toomey.
The mayor. So I got Max Albritton left. Is that Stu Carmack far left?
Over here?
Yeah,
Don't know. That is Max.
Max. And then I'm trying to think the guy next to him is,
Max should know.
Max, and then Denny Stewart.
You got the same ones that Gary Brewer got.
He agreed with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
My goodness. Got a pig.
those are some farm boys. Nobody in town had a pig.
Well, you should get the one on the left if Gary Brewer's correct.
Well, let me look.
Gary Burr's got a better memory than me.
Gary says that's Lonnie Von Lanken on the left.
Oh boy, that's Nick. Wow.
Or he tagged Lonnie Von Lanken anyway.
Could be. I don't know. He was a farm boy. Those are all farm kids, I think. I don't know who the twins are.
The girl actually looks more familiar to me. That is, you know what? That is Lonnie. And if you look right at the eyes and everything.
Well, I'm trying to imagine him reaching out and scratching me to death, guarding me. That would be the guy.
That little pet pig.
Okay, that is, on the left was the 1955 homecoming queen.
First guy,
Well, the gal on the left is Sandy DeBolt or Sandy Decker, 55 homecoming.
guy is Chuck Martin,
And,
Charlie Martin.
and King and Queen were from 50 or 56, Chuck Martin. And fourth guy in, the homecoming king is Richard Valentine. And then you get in.
That's a man wearing it.
It looks like a man wearing gal.
Shirley,
And you-
go ahead.
I think this is Dotson, Stan Dotson in a white coat. What does Shirley say?
Well, we've got lots of comments. Shirley says, Sandy Decker far left, Richard Valentine far right, Vonda Branham Flanagan in the middle. And
Fonda Branham.
on the right is Betty Mitchner.
Oh, I said man wearing.
You know who's on the far right is Dr. Boylson's son. I think isn't that a Boylson?
Kim Martin says, Charlie Martin, homecoming king. Shirley Quinn says, Betty Mitchner, question mark, Jane Sturgill, Stanton Dotson, Rachel Robbins, question mark, not sure about these. Bonnie Christmas says left or right. Sandra DeBolt, Chuck Martin, Vonda Branham, Richard Valentine, Betty Mitchner, Ed Miller, Jane Sturgill, Stanton Dotson, Carol Haney, and Delbert Willison.
Delbert Willison, did not know him.
What's that?
This is the old North Ward.
That
here.
picture is the South Ward. That's the south
That's South Ward
end
gym?
of the gym. That's had that brace across the windows up there.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That girl on the left looks like that Joellen Cunningham.
That's what Carol Pierce said.
Looks like Joellen. I don't know who's on the right.
Man, everyone had a pet brought to school.
The sign says, I'm the cat's pajamas.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was pet day, pet parade. I don't have any comments on this one.
Well, that's looking back at the,
Looking east.
isn't that looking south? Isn't that the building off the north? Oh, wait.
That's the east to the shop, and that's that building Winans that Chris Hill owns now. Behind the Winans house, that's that barn. Don't you think?
Looking down that street.
Yeah, well, you're actually looking over houses.
This is the old
Their
North Ward,
backyard, yeah. Over here is where, what street is that, Pembroke?
Yeah. Where Lineburgers live.
Uh-huh.
Don't know.
Gee, man.
What's going on here? Any ideas?
Well, there's looks like a drainage map up there.
No comments on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, there's the,
Did
I
you-
don't know, the speaker. Looks like Harry Pate.
Out of my league.
Maybe Harry Pate. I don't know. Wanda Branham and Chuck Martin. There's Decker, DeBolt, and Valentine.
Yeah, Chubb Connor said left to right, Richard Valentine, Chuck Martin, Rhonda Branham, and Sandy Decker.
This is 1956 because Valentine and Decker were king and queen in 55.
I know my mom was in the same class as Sandy, but she only went her senior year, I think. She went somewhere else before that.
The old depot. This is looking to the southeast,
This
like
was,
from the community building.
yeah, this was the very first organized right for women to vote march in Tuscola.
Mm-hmm. Depot's gone. Clark Fullerton's. We watched that burn that night, didn't we?
We did watch it burn down. One of Tuscola's three depots, depot or depot?
Close enough.
Oh,
Okay, now we're going. Now we're gonna get some lookers here. See if we can figure these one out. On the left, that-
I'm not even gonna try.
is that Judy Moore
No, I don't believe so.
on the left?
I'm not gonna try. Did you get comments on this?
I don't on this one. But these are probably a little older than you guys.
Well,
No, we looked at them carefully when we were younger,
we were probably
4th grade.
4th, 5th grade.
I do have some comments on this one.
Well, let's hear it, because I can't tell.
Janice
That'd be
Moody
fun.
says she thinks that's Juanita Hausman on first on the left. Donna Stahl tagged Patrick Hayes and says your mom first on the left. Shirley Quinn says Barb Lossman in the middle, Barb Van Zant far right.
Yeah, I was gonna say Barbara Van Zant, Barbara Moss. On the
Sandy
far
Fuller
right.
says Carol Bass second from right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Carol Bass is the person we bought where my house sits right now, where the golf course is. This is Bass property. And I negotiated with a lawyer out in Oklahoma or Kansas somewhere where Carol lived.
Is that the old Methodist church in the background?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
This is just showing a float.
That's Winged Victory. Famous
way-
Greek statue. Look at
the
the
way they
cars.
used
There's
to
a
be built.
Nash, what is that, a Nash Rambler behind it?
That's where I'm.
Whatever happened to the Nash Rambler?
Got the old cars, the depot, the grain elevator there.
Oh, this,
No, that's a good picture. The band.
In front of North Ward. The second North Ward. Former high school.
Right.
This is the building I went K through 5 in, and my mother graduated high school from this building.
I went 5 through 8.
now that's what they used to do downtown was the band would play and the cheerleaders would cheer. But I'm looking over to the left and is that the old PE teacher?
Miriam Cox, I
Mary
don't
Fox
think so.
trying to do it again? It's too early for Linda Matheny. Yeah, looks like the cheerleader sponsor is getting into it there.
Yeah.
Sis
Just on the
Boom,
corner of Main and North Central.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Raise it up a little bit if you can.
Raise it up.
Well, no, excuse me. Go out.
you wanna
Go
look,
out.
you wanna look at the overhang.
Well, the overhead, see there, well worth 5 and 10 cent store.
And let me,
Chris Hill's offices.
I'm just impressed with that teacher. I don't think that's a cheerleader out there with a dress on. What do you think, Bill? What's your take on that? Did somebody run out of the crowd just to?
I have no idea. Getting a little bit wild there.
Yeah, well, it was wild. Mid-50s where juvenile delinquency was really soaring.
Yeah.
That's when they did
James Dean.
James Dean, Sal Mineo, Rebel Without a Cause.
Okay.
Anybody? Okay,
there's
look at the
float.
floats back then. They made a guitar. Look at that.
Yes, I see it. Playing to victory.
And what's that back behind it? A Studebaker?
Studebaker.
An old Studebaker. What happened to Studebaker?
They're at Bruce Weatherford's house.
They're all at Bruce's.
Why the class of '83 did the tissue paper stuffed in chicken wire, because this is how they used to be built.
That's right.
Yeah,
And I applaud the class of '83 for doing it.
yeah. You should have built yourself a statue like that guitar.
Yeah, that guitar is something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's framed out.
Mhm.
Becky Swinford says, when floats for floats, the fun building them.
Yeah, that's an old Gibson.
I'm going to guess this has to do with the American Legion Auxiliary.
That was my first thought.
But I don't have any names. You guys,
No,
anything?
no.
Oh, that was
Underberg.
coach. That's the coach there.
It
Brent,
was Michaels.
Mr. Michaels, Ken Michaels.
Kenny Michaels.
Kenny Michaels. I don't know who that is with him. Looks like a 55 Ford. Looks like Ned Ferguson's old black Ford that I think he owned. I think Ann Monahan drove that for a while, high school. Black 55. I think he still has it.
Kenny Michaels was Gene Murray's high school basketball coach. He came here as principal. Wow, they came out in Chicken Bristle.
Used to have a lot of horses in the parade, but then the city budget couldn't cover the cleanup, so we had to ban horses. Nobody wanted to be behind the horses in the parade, by the way, if you're a walker.
Well, they usually put the horses last.
Well, I was in charge of the parade a couple of years. We put them all the way at the end.
You in charge of cleanup too?
No, I delegated that.
Oh.
I'm a good delegator.
It looks like that bicycle's got training wheels on it.
Yeah.
Another pet picture.
Girl, that looks familiar.
She does.
Paula Smith Thomas says that's Carol Schrott Pierce and her sister Connie Schrodinger.
You know, I was going to say they look like Carol, but I didn't want to get her mad at me. And that is her younger sister.
Yeah, I'll be darned.
That's her pet duck. I remember. And that's Ronnie Knapp on the right, I think. Becky, is this Ronnie Knapp? I'm going to have Becky see if this is Ronnie Knapp. He was a year older than Carol. Carol Pierce Schroed. Right
And her
there.
sister Connie.
Is that Ronnie Knapp? I don't know. Well, good guess. Is that you? We're back in the 50s, honey. We're lost in the 50s right now.
Yeah.
You can help us if you want.
I think we're just lost. Let's see.
Well, there's that Ferguson motor.
There's Ned's
Mhm.
55 Thunderbird convertible. Well, they weren't convertible. I think the hardtop came off. Oh, that's looking south at the old North Ward
See the football lines?
Yep.
where they played their football.
That's where they played football.
David, over, you see that smokestack?
Yeah.
One story to the right, the two-story thing's the annex they built on. That was new in the 50s for the population explosion.
Right.
But right around that, on the side of the annex, there was a little bitty shed where they loaded the coal for the furnace. We could climb on that. Then we could get on the roof of the one story, and then we could shimmy up on the two-story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we used to get in the school.
Get in the window.
Get in the window. And we'd go inside, get a drink of cold water, and come back out and play.
That first floor, big span of windows there.
What's that?
That first floor, big span of windows there. That was my kindergarten class.
Yeah.
Right above it was my 5th grade class with Juanita Mitchner. That's where I went to the window the day Brookside blew up. And I went to the window and looked out and watched the black smoke going up in the sky.
Not knowing that your dad had been blown up in it.
No, in fact, we had some other kids were crying because they thought their parents were there. Turned out Homer was over drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Jim Lamb and Mrs. Cole. Well, that looks like Steve Henniger on the right. Go ahead. That's Steve Henniger on the right.
Can't tell. Hey, I know. I just can't tell.
Ken Henninger said he thinks it's Steve Henninger with their pet goldfish.
Steve looks like Larry there, but it's not Larry.
No.
Be Steve.
Let's see, what's the sign say? So, no vacancy, no vacant, ran out of room, and so wrote it underneath.
Well, come on, we should know some of these.
Lady right there looks very familiar, but
So does she.
yeah, she does.
Amy Seibel says Sharon Spomer front left. Sarah Cobble says back row, second from right. She thinks is her Aunt Marie Garrett. And Donna Stahl says tagged Lori Matthews, and Paul Donnelly said your grandma Leon seated on far right.
What's her name, Leon?
Oh, she remarried.
Leon Graham?
Graham.
Paul Donnelly's mother. She
Mhm.
was a Brown, Donnelly, Graham.
And Kathy Hanners tagged Susan Hanners Helms, and Judy Harness says, is that your mom in the back row? So not exactly sure on some of those. I recognize Hop there on the second from right seated.
Far back right is in the standing is Albert Shields.
Al Shields, and the next one is Pat Cummins.
Pat Cummins Diesel, according to Joe Slaughter.
Okay, third and fourth, I'm not sure. Is that, we should know this.
Oh, that's Bill Trout. See,
All the way upper left is Bill Trout.
no hands. Oh, God. I don't know. He's a veteran too. Look,
And
I don't remember him. but
Bottom.
that's Bill Trout.
second one in is Hoppy Connor.
This is far left is John Rothgeb.
Johnny Rothgeb, far left. Yeah, we should know this guy.
God, yes.
I was gonna say Bill. Did we shoot pool with Bill?
Yeah, but we shot pool with this guy up here. I
Okay,
think.
you think that's Bill Trout, not
Well, you know what? I mean, it looks like him.
Bill?
You
I
can
shot
probably-
pool with one of these guys.
If that was Bill Trout, the reason he lost his hands was in a picker working for Rich Lamb.
Right, it wasn't the war.
Yeah. Pat Cummins's dad worked on Main Street before the advent of cross arms for the railroad. His dad was the man that lifted the arms manually during the daytime. That has to be Bill Trout, but that guy there, we'd know him from a pool hall.
Yeah, but I think this is Bill Trout.
And it probably is.
You guys are doing better than I thought you would.
Al Shields was a famous local character. Well,
Look in the background, Mrs. Ponder.
there's Miriam Ponder back up against the credit union.
Well, she's wearing clown makeup here.
Huh.
My first thought was is that Mrs. Nunn? Didn't she used to dress up
No,
No,
as a clown sometime? No.
no,
I don't think that's Mrs. Nunn.
I don't either.
Yeah. I can't tell. I don't know who the kids are.
Nobody?
either.
Nice dog.
Looks like President Biden's dog's gonna bite you.
Lori Lynn says, KS, that has to be you in the middle, and Chub Connor says it is.
That's Kenny Swingle.
You know.
But here's what I was gonna say, because it looked like him. Kenny Swingle was born in 63. He was, and I always used to kid him. Of course, he taught at East Prairie.
If this is still the 55, 56 era, that
Well,
can't be.
this
Kenny.
would be, and it wouldn't be 55 or 56.
No, this is the 70s. I
I
got
was gonna
I
say,
pulled
yeah,
from a variety of
but that's Kenny Swingle.
yeah, I
because
pulled
he
from a
was
variety of
moving.
places this week.
Okay, I
Okay,
thought we're still in the 50s.
yeah.
Who's Jose there?
Don't
What's
know.
Who's got the sombrero?
Yeah, that's the only, Kenny Swingle's the only name I had on here.
Okay.
Holy cow.
You see your wife in there?
No, Shelley Forney says that's Cindy Lore on the left and Chris Maggio Hunt on the far right.
Miss Chris?
But we've got a Ferris wheel right in the middle of town.
Yeah.
Now this is downtown as I remember it as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's back Welch's. Malcolm Welch had a restaurant down there. Pretty good food.
This matinee,
J.R. knows that Mrs. North running their furniture store.
her sign, Ben Franklin.
And Franklin would have been owned back in 55, back in the 70s by Four Seasons people, or had it been transferred?
Couch.
Couch.
Yeah.
Couch. Is that Ronnie Strange back there? Hey, partner.
I don't think it's Ronnie Strange, but sure does look familiar.
It does look a little like Ronnie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cindy's dad was of course, my little league coach, Dave Lore, and he and his wife Barb both succumbed to COVID.
Yeah.
Onset of the pandemic.
Is that Beth?
God, that looks familiar.
Beth's husband gave you the barn where you built your float this year, didn't he?
This is, yeah, it's Chris Maggio Hunt.
Chris.
Chris.
Didn't her husband
Yeah,
provide the
Brad.
facility?
Yeah, Brad's, we built it in Brad's shop. Brad was in my class, or is in my class. So Chris is a year or two younger.
Looks like a Huber.
Henry Harsha says Cindy and Chris Lore ?
Oh,
And Cindy Lore says, yep, that is me and Chris. I
That's
love
neat.
the pet parade.
They had them in those outfits like that.
That was Dave and Barb's two daughters. I love this picture.
yeah.
I don't have any
Looks like
comments on it.
looks like it's some out of Little Rascals from the
Mhm.
50s TV series.
They're I think they're supposed to be just married. They're pulling the cans behind him, but he doesn't look too happy about it, does he?
Well, most people aren't about that time in their life.
He's like, this arranged marriage.
And I don't think the wife's thrilled either.
Well, probably
did we
brother and
do?
sister be my guess.
What did we do, honey?
That's a funny picture though. I don't have any comments on it, so I don't know who it is.
That's at the TNB. Remember they had that big thing on the wall?
Yeah. Yeah. They gave away a trivet. That was the annual trivet drawing.
According to our internet sleuth, that's Becky Hausman Chapel. Now we had a couple TV places, appliance places in town, but I didn't recognize these two, and I don't have any comments on them.
Well,
They briefly opened up one down where
Eisner's was.
Eisner's, where Kelsey's has a storage facility. They went competition with the people on the highway with Ron Hodges and Allison. They came in the
Well, we also had flocks.
Right.
Yeah, this was a cut rate.
Right. It's where when we say the Eisners, we mean south of the railroad tracks, that Quonset building, east of Main Street.
Now that was that where the guard unit was out of that building? I heard that once.
Could be. Maybe that's where Quonset is. Wasn't that where Eisner's was at?
Yes, this is, but I can't think of this name of this.
It wasn't there very long.
No, it wasn't. And then Hodge went in there.
Yeah, there we go.
That's Gaylord Swihart on the far left. Is that Les Dick?
Les Dick, second one in. This looks like a
That's Democrat.
Democrat conclave.
And that's the old Secretary of State. He was powerhouse. What was his name? Shaking hands with Swihart.
Michael Hallett.
Might be.
Well, there were some pictures with the Hallett signs.
That's
Michael
him.
Hallett. Paul Powell was his predecessor. They said when Paul Powell died, he left some awful big shoe boxes to fill.
Big shoe.
That's where they found all his cash.
Paul Powell from Vienna.
Well, Marcy Shoemaker says Les Dick, second from left, then says Jan Smith. Jack Norman says that's Jack Norman Sr. on the right.
That could be.
Okay. Ooh, not happy.
Oh boy, that's not Adams. Young Adams, is it?
No.
Janice Moody says it's Francis
Mayor.
Mayor?
That's what I thought. That's Don Fortney's uncle.
Yeah.
God, no wonder Fortney was so mean.
I coached his son in baseball.
I like the goggles hanging over here on the.
He welded a little bit. Well,
That's an ear of corn.
yeah, come on. That's what's his, just a minute. That's Honan.
No,
That's not Hoey.
no, it's not Herman. That's too big for Herman.
Well, he was bigger when he was young.
Well, that's true. But I don't think it's him.
I
You
got
have something on that?
No, but
that's
I got two pictures of the same guy though.
No, I thought looking down it looked a little bit like Herman.
But you don't, no one commented.
No one commented, so surely somebody knows who that is.
Well, there's some guys working on farm machinery or just farming. Is
Yeah, I don't have any comments on this one either.
that Eddie Beecham on the left?
I don't know. He was in the army. He's got on his,
Yeah, he was.
I thought it was a cool picture though.
Zero in on his jacket there if you can.
You can't read the name on it. I looked last night when I don't
Yeah.
see name on it.
Eddie was farming, Tuscola kid farmed down near Arthur, I think. Dan Ponder.
Dan Ponder. Yeah. That was easy.
He's my mom's class, 1940, I think.
Your Trojan salesman, that's, oh, is that Ranch?
Yeah,
What's his name?
looks like John Hirschfield.
That's
Shirley Quinn says it's Jim Clapper.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
man,
Trojan seed,
young man.
young Jim.
Mm-hmm.
This is Shirley's era.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get in trouble, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Janice Moody says Mrs. Travis ? Leona Stevens, Margaret Wynn, and Naomi Hackett.
I agree with Leona Stevens and Margaret Hackett now that I see it.
I see. Okay, I agree with Margaret Hackett, and that is Mrs. Wynn.
Naomi Hackett.
Naomi, I mean, Naomi who married to Harold.
Married to Harold, David, and your classmate,
Debbie
Debbie.
and Dave.
Dave and class of 62, Denny Hackett played football. Morris. That is
A manger scene.
looks like the Cunningham household.
No, something would have been knocked over.
It's
Looks
way
like
too-
It looks like a business because you look at the floor here and the door back here.
Yeah, but look back there. It looks like a,
Yeah.
oh, I see there is. I guess, well, Bill Cunningham might have had a cigarette machine in his house.
Well, more than one. It looks like a booth of more than one telephone, maybe.
Yeah, I said it looked like the old Cunningham house, and I noticed there was a cigarette machine, and we both agreed that maybe Bill snuck that in, and his dad and mom, Betty, and oh, there's the right upper left is Vern Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And down below him,
Nope, don't know.
I think it's burned right upper left.
It's burned right,
I was going to say it's Sally, lower right, but I don't know.
but I don't get the rest of them. This is political.
It's political.
Could be.
Is that Charlie Clayball?
Clay ball. I was gonna say clay ball. Don't know who the young lady is.
Republican.
Yeah.
Any names on that one?
No.
Helen Ziegler, our
Helen Ziegler.
treasurer,
Yeah.
with, I think, Charlie Clayball out of Champaign, our rep. Okay, that's Mrs. Flock on the left, isn't it?
Pat? I don't think so.
You don't think that's Pat Flock?
No, I don't think so. Did you have some names on this?
I do not. But from when this picture was taken, I'd say that looks too old to be Mrs. Flock, but
Yeah.
oh, UPS truck is here. Means my cigars are here.
Oh, I hope so.
Can you read her name tag?
No. It says hello.
Oh, I met her before.
So they're both named hello. That's unusual, isn't it, to have
Well, they're
two
twins,
Twins.
women both named hello?
separated by 20 years.
So I'm gonna pause just a second here.
Hmm.
All right, we had to take a little break there for my cigar delivery. Okay, so we don't have any names on
No, we don't have anything on that.
So we'll go to the next one. I do have comments on this one. But we'll see how
That's
you
second
guys
lady.
do first.
That looks like Jim Wood's wife. What was her name?
I don't know. That looks like Mrs. Wax.
Way down there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Second one in looks like Jane Woods, Carl Henning's daughter.
Bet you got some comments on this.
I think that's the circuit clerk's office.
Kathy Rose says Jane Wood, second from left. Sue Wood Alcorn says Peg Crossman next to her and Mary Watson next to her.
This is the circuit clerk's office,
Had to be something for Republican women's, I bet.
1970s. They were all clerks in Tom Van Vors's office when I was state's
That's what
attorney.
Joyce Miller Russell says. Those women rocked the circuit clerk's office. And Bree Weaver says, my sweet, beautiful mother, Mary Watson. Never seen this picture before. That's one of the fun things about doing this. A lot of people see their family members and they never saw the.
We haven't
a lot
seen
of
ours.
these pictures- A lot of these pictures never made it in the paper.
Yeah,
Oh, Earl Pendergrass.
Earl the Pearl
What a nice gentleman.
worked at the FNB, the bank.
He was a belly gunner on a B-17 or a B-25,
In World War II.
World War II.
Oh, there's Mrs. Carpenter upper left.
Actually, that's
Oh,
Reese.
Reenie Reese. Mrs. Carpenter's down below her.
Yeah.
That's Mrs. Lane is that Mrs. Lane on the lower left? Doris Lane?
I think you're right.
And is that,
Don't know that one. No, that's Tracy Carpenter, second from the left.
down, and Ian Reese upper left.
Yeah.
These are all downtown merchants. Ian worked for Century Motors. Tracy was Carpenters. I think these might be some Chamber of Commerce doodad. Or not.
Or not. This is Chris Murray in the back right.
Right. And the other, there's her sister. Those are both,
Yeah.
those are both
Both
Murrays.
Murrays.
Both Gene and
It's Teresa and Chris.
Uh-huh.
It says seated right, Golda Sin.
I'll be darned.
Henry Sin's wife.
Bill saw Golda one day.
Yeah, you did too.
I know. We ever tell you that story?
No, well, maybe we should.
Okay.
He was my next door neighbor when I was born.
Oh, that's Grandpa and Grandma Muir, Raymond Muir.
And Eunice.
That's Bud Bryce's in-laws.
Wonderful people. Lived down there. Oh, this is back when we had a high board and nobody was, and the two below are going to try and dive underneath her and do what they call a triple fountain. It was a really rare dive.
This was at night.
Yeah.
This was during the swim show. They used to put on swim shows.
Yeah, that was called the triple fountain dive.
Yeah.
My brother participated in those, and I was supposed to one year, but I got the mumps, so I couldn't. I had to stay in the car and watch from the car.
David, they had to get rid of those dives. This high one first because of liability. And all my years of I don't know anybody ever got hurt. Do you?
No.
I didn't know if we could recognize anybody. This would be from the 70s, like 72 maybe.
Can't tell.
Yeah. But this was also from the swim show.
You have any comments on this? Those
Chrissy-
are guys who are dressed up like girls or something.
Christy Townsend says it's John Calmar on the left and Rob Meyer on the right.
I was gonna say, funny looking girls.
That looked pretty good to me. Oh, I was about ready to date one. That looked like Sharon Colton on the left. Although that's Sharon.
They do make pretty girls, don't they?
Yeah.
Here,
Oh, that's is that Belts?
that's Donna Belts. That's my high school
Belt-
valedictorian,
Yeah.
class of 1966.
Donna Belts. I had a date with Donna.
Ronnie Atkinson said Janet Shelton ?
No.
No.
Well, could be.
Well, you know what? God, it looks like Donna Belts.
It does.
That's Janet
It
Shelton.
also looks like Janet Shelton.
It also looks like, who's the teacher though?
I don't know. Janet Shelton would have been class of 64.
No, she was class of 63.
63. That's right, my sister's class.
Bree Weaver says lady was the home ec teacher, but she doesn't remember the name.
I'll be darned. I never had a date with Janet Shelton. Well, this is my sister's class. Left to right is Sonia Reese.
Kay Fredericks,
Kay Fredericks is Patty Jinks.
Jeanette Lindsay.
I think her name is it's a Smith.
Rosemary.
No, there was another Smith.
Oh, Sandy.
Sandy Smith, Breen,
That's Nancy Breen, Mrs. Cox,
and looks like
Carol Chapman.
Carol Chapman from your class.
Sandy Smith's brother just passed away in my class, Ronnie Smith.
Okay.
We did pretty well on that.
And Jeanette,
Did you get Carol Chapman far right?
Yeah, we got Carol Chapman.
Beals, Carol
Carol
Chapman.
Beals.
I think
I
you
think
got
She's
all
my
the ones.
class.
Jeanette died here about 2 years ago.
Yeah, she did. Jeanette had a great sense of humor.
She's a great gal. I'm in Colorado.
I think you got all the ones that
Oh, there's okay.
Oh, man.
Now we'll go with Dorothy Deer. My sister, lower left is my sister Melinda. Not sure. Nancy Smith,
Sue Wetzel,
Sue Wetzel.
Charlie Whalen.
Upper left is Nita Bozarth, Doug Green, Mike Kyle, Bob Wyatt, Joe Kleiss, and Nancy Breen.
Back row's got some very smart people
Yeah,
in there.
Doug,
Not that the front row wasn't.
I just saw Nita at the homecoming. She came back from Indiana. Doug wound up being a psychologist out in Spokane or Seattle with his two brothers who are psychiatrists. Mike's over in Decatur, physical therapy. Bob Wyatt worked for Dow Chemical. Joe Kleiss is a Hall of Fame professor
Dr.
of
Kleiss.
agriculture at North Carolina, University of North Carolina.
Sharon
Oh,
Cappy had some different first names. She had the same last names you did, but she's got back row Nita Bozarth, Pete Green,
Well, Doug Green, Pete was his nickname.
Mike Kyle, Bob
No,
White.
by the way, I'm not kidding there. His name
That's true.
his name was Doug.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody called him Petey.
Pete.
Well, my brother Pete's real name is Frank, so Mike Kyle, Bob White, Joe Kleiss, Brenda Breen, she said.
No, Brenda was younger.
Okay.
Mhm.
Brenda was the youngest of the Breens, I think. Kathy was in my class. We say Nancy.
Then she had Miss Dear Melinda Carroll, question mark, Sue Wetzel, Mr. Whalen. And
Yeah.
Carol Zane says 2 in the middle of front row are Linda Dallas and Sandy Smith.
Yeah, Sandy Smith we had, but Linda Dallas we did not have. You're right.
No. And you know what?
These are the brains of the class, and you can see where mom and dad pretty much spent all their ammunition on my sister.
Well, Linda would have to be related to me.
Linda Dallas. Yeah, you should have got that.
Mhm.
Charlie Whalen was one of the greatest guys
You know,
I ever.
I've got 100 cousins, so I can't keep them all straight.
But Charlie Whalen was probably one of my all-time favorite school administrators. Just always had a smile, kind word, smart guy.
Real character.
There's Eddie Schultz on the left.
Oh, yeah.
My sister
That's
Melinda.
it.
There's Janet Shelton,
Yeah, that's-
third.
Gardner.
That's Dale. There's 2 Gardner boys,
Dick was,
Dick and
what was his name?
yeah, I don't know, Doug Green or Pete Green.
Can't tell.
What Gardner? Let me see. There was Dick Gardner, and then what was his brother's name? This might have been senior award night. I think Schultz might have got the art award. There's
There's Joe Caldwell.
on the far left is Carol Schroed Pierce,
Kathy Rice,
is
Annette McCaney.
uh-huh.
Did we
Joseph.
have this picture before?
No.
No.
Joseph Caldwell, the older Gardner, Hattie
Froman.
Froman, Knapp,
Brenda
Knapp.
Knapp.
There's Miss Clausen, English teacher, Ann Mason, and Bonnie Powell.
I think that's pretty much Sharon Cappy says Carol Strott, Mary Left End, question mark, Mary Parrish, question mark, Joe Caldwell, question mark, Judy Froman, Dorinda Knapp. I think you got all the names I got.
Yeah.
I think we got them. Yeah.
Oh, there's
Bernard Weber.
Bernard Weber. Lived next to, did he live next to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was
That's
my
a-
neighbor.
That's the second floor. Is he up on the
Yeah.
second floor of his house?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's where that is. It might be. He had things up there. He had a compost. Bernard, what a wonderful guy. What a wonderful neighbor. He built the community building and the swimming pool.
Bernard built
Contractor.
Bernard built a perfect house, 2 stories high, and the first floor is nothing but garage
Yeah, with his
equipment.
equipment. You know,
Lived
did he ever
upstairs.
marry? I don't think he ever married.
I'm not sure.
I bet this is a Royal Order of the Masonic Lodge. These are the old timers.
You got names?
Nope.
Oh, I didn't have any names. I don't have any names on this one either.
That's an out of towner.
Out of towners.
If we don't know them, they're from Hugo or Hydesboro.
At the courthouse?
Well, no, they never had a
Stove like that. No.
they had a stove.
Nope.
That is Williams, Larry Williams' brother. What was his name? I think that's
Can't
who it
tell
is.
you. Larry's brother.
I think that's Larry Williams' brother. I'm just
Harold Todd
there's his
went into
parking-
business with Concert one time.
it's Ray
Ray
Warren.
Warren's Electric.
right next to him. Remember there's the old parking meters.
That's where that vacuum shop is
Vacuum
up
shop.
there now, uptown.
Next door to the
Awesome.
newspaper office.
Girl looks awfully familiar.
Do you have any names on that last one?
No. I don't have any on this one either.
Hugo.
These girls were too old for us.
They're from Hugo. Oh, boy.
Who's
That's-
that in the back row left?
Well, I'll tell you, in the front row, 4th one up to the left is Heine Schultz, County Board, and Delbert Grimm, second from the right, and his wife.
Yeah, I see Delbert.
head of DeKalb, and his wife,
Lucille.
Lucille. On the left,
Gosh, darn it. This kid back here looks so familiar.
yeah. Henry Schultz. When I say Heine Schultz, it's Henry Schultz.
Henry and Mildred,
Yeah.
second couple from the left at the
What
table.
So you got names on this?
When I was state's
Just
attorney, he was on
Rose
the
and,
county.
and Lucy and Del Grimm. That's the
Lucy and Del Graham. When I was state's attorney, Henry was on the county board. Just a wonderful, kind guy.
those were the only in this community building.
There's on the right is Wilhelm. Second was Jim Lemna, Tim's dad, lawyer in town, Lemna Moore and Carroll fame.
Frank Earl.
So this would be the Knights of Columbus.
They shoot holes in the wall too.
They do. World War II target practice.
Yeah,
Frank
Earl
Earl,
Wilhelm.
Jim Lemna. Who were the other guys?
I don't know.
Well, you got the
I
one
was paying them off.
Well, Jim was in charge of the Catholic Church, charities, and various organizations. That's why I'm thinking Knights of Columbus, or isn't that the Catholic?
looks like March of Dimes. Is the
Well,
sign in the background.
Are you reading that in the back?
Yeah.
Jim was in charge of a lot of civic efforts. This is back when women wore white blouses and skirts. This is definitely the 50s.
Actually, I think it's the 60s.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, the school didn't open till 59, so
Yeah.
it's early. What's this, 63, I think, 60?
I'd say it's early, but I'm not picking them out like I should be able
Yeah,
to.
Winkler, Teresa Little.
Well,
Lori Lynn, Communist Sharon Connor Swingle, and Rita Kleiss Lichtenwalter. I don't know if she's identifying people or tagging people.
probably tagging people, they're probably in here, but my goodness gracious, yeah, that's before us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's do that again. Right there, freeze it.
Anything?
Nope.
A lot of beauty, overwhelmed by the beauty.
Probably
Here,
from
we ought to know
the
some of the
event.
some of the hombres we ought to know.
Can you, yeah, go in there.
Looks like Ed Cox right there.
Yeah, it does.
And that's Jim Baird.
Yeah.
That's Jim Baird.
Mhm.
That's Colby Coffee.
Kobe, probably.
Keep on sliding it, David. Like Gary Holmes down here.
Huh.
Wow. Well, Ann Olson, I don't know. W.A. Bozarth and Ken Michaels on the left.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the others.
This is what they came to school and tell you if you weren't going to do well, they're going to draft you.
Well, in 1965, we took them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
WA would be the third one from the left, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Ken Michaels is second from left. This might be late 50s, 59, 58.
Community building.
Used to have teen dances upstairs, David. In 7th and 8th grade, we'd go upstairs and dance.
Yeah, this is probably when it's new. It's a nighttime picture. I find it
Yeah.
interesting that it originally was called Community Center.
Mhm.
At some point, it became Community Building.
Oh, there's the new Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I don't have any comments on this one.
We're down the ground pretty good, do you think? Just down the bud?
Jiminy, I'm glad he's driving that thing up there.
Yeah. That was back before OSHA.
There's the lumberyard over there.
Yeah, F.H. Jones, you're looking west toward the overpass and the lumberyard.
Looks like he's about to drive it right on top of this tire.
Yeah, you're looking northwest from the old depot over there.
Wow. That's Dick Lake on the far right.
Is that Cappy Weatherford?
I think it's Cap.
Cappy Weatherford's driving that
That's KO Lake.
Hale Lake and Richard Lake on the right. Dick Lake. Yeah. That building's still out of USI. They haven't torn that one down yet. Is that the power plant?
Well, you know what?
We drove out there and looked at it. Man.
Oh man, I just drove out the other day. It's a skeleton. There's some neat pictures out there of it's going to be gone.
Cy Williams and Chud Corey.
Now, those are the custodians during our time.
Chud Corey and Cy Williams, wonderful guys. We loved them a lot.
Yeah, they were special.
You know what I liked about them? They would stop their dusting or mopping and talk to you for hours. Just wonderful guys.
Washed all the uniforms,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, how did they get everything done?
So I lived on the corner. Oh, here we go. Look at that Rayburn Auto.
Yeah.
Truck in the back says Tuscola Sheet Metal Plumbing. Is this South Central?
That's looking back at the okay, let me get my bearings.
That's looking,
Not the corner grocery.
no.
I'm gonna have to reverse.
I don't know where Rayburn Auto Implement was.
That's not Dunn's Drugs, was it? Now. That's where the
Presbyterian Church.
laundromat is, the Presbyterian's across the street.
Hmm.
And this is that corner building right here. I think you could be looking
That's a
south.
Sturgill building, and isn't it? This is steps to the
You
Sturgill
could be
building
looking southeast
on Main
on
Street.
Main Street.
Main Street.
Over the left was Old Dunn's Drug, burned down. Rayburn's burned or torn down. It's where the laundromat is. I don't know. That's a tough one.
No, I saw him in another picture and I didn't know he was with WA and
Yeah.
Kenny Michaels. Don't know who that was.
Yeah.
Probably for state education. Who knows?
Yeah. Looks like
The
a-
old gym's brand new.
Zero in just a little bit there. Over to the left, go back the other way. That Carolyn Miller. Stop right there.
Carolyn Moore. Who
Carolyn,
knows?
Carolyn
Mike
Miller
Moore's sister.
married Phillips.
Married Larry?
Larry. That was Gene Miller's niece, I think. There's
That
a
looks like-
Houseman. Houseman.
Isn't this a Brinkley?
Yeah, she married Stroll.
Yeah.
Brinkley became a Stroll. That's a Hausman. Wow. Must be new teachers.
Do you have anything on that?
Go back on that.
Probably not.
No, I don't have anything on that.
Okay. WA,
As I say, that looks like WA on the left.
and it's at the school. This might, you know what? Was this a grand opening or what?
Well, it could have been 58, 59. I think the students actually packed up and moved everything during the school year from northward of the high school. I thought in 58 or 59.
Wouldn't WA be proud to know that his grandson is,
Isn't that something?
yeah,
Yeah.
over the school now? Jeez. That's
don't
all.
know.
Is that Mr. Owen on the left?
I don't know.
Olson? I mean, is that Mr. Olson on the left?
I don't know.
I don't have any names on this one.
Earl Olson? Looks like Larry Christine directed the
Oh,
choir.
now I'm getting this. You know what this is? They brought in the county for a concert thing, I bet, don't you think? Or is that just all
I think it's
Tuscola?
Tuscola. Zero in on that bottom. Go back to that picture and zero in a little bit. To the right, slide to the right. Didn't help.
No, back left. Other way. The next picture is a little clearer. Let's
Yeah,
go ahead.
we'll do okay on the next picture. We'll do better. Okay,
Now.
zero in down here. This is, we got some of these people in the front row. Stop right there.
And Gary Brinkley.
Is that Holsty? That Fred on the left?
Might be Fred.
Gary Brinkley? That's Chapman.
It's a Chapman.
Uh,
It's too much dead airspace.
Yeah.
well, I'm trying to give Bill a chance to,
Yeah, he's trying to give me a chance.
it's a moving target.
So we got, yeah,
Yeah.
made Mike Carroll speechless. That's the first.
Yeah. first one.
Okay. We did get a couple of them though.
I got a couple of them.
It looks like in the middle, it looks like Jerry Snyder and Bill Wolverton.
That's Bill Wolverton.
Bill Wolverton's in the checkered sports coat. The white sports coat's Jerry Snyder, Kenny's brother. The girls are, this is a connoisseur, isn't it? Next, Wolverton taking the
Possibly.
Pat Connoisseur or whatever the connoisseur's name is. I don't know.
Possibly.
Jerry's taking Ross. Go back there a little bit. Is that the Ross gal? Carolyn?
I don't think so, but maybe I've been wrong before.
Okay, keep sliding left or that way if you want.
Well, that's, oh, you want to go back this direction?
Yeah, or left. Yeah, slide that way. That as far as it goes?
Yeah.
Well, we know that's Bill and Jerry. Well, that's Kirshner, Mike Kirshner on, not Mike, Larry. What was Mike?
Larry was the older brother.
Larry Kirshner,
This is DeMolay,
Malay.
but I can't tell you the rest of those boys.
No, you can't tell us anything or you'll get executed.
Oh, I thought it was Robin Hood's Merry Men.
Yeah, well, they're kind of dressed that way. No idea.
She's familiar right there.
I don't have any names on this one either.
Well, there's John Lloyd, the tall guy. In the middle is John Lloyd. And then let's go from John Lloyd. Well, 1, 2, 3, that's Jim Mann. That's
LH's son.
LH's son, went on to be a doctor. I think that's a Rutan.
This kid here's familiar, but I can't.
Yeah.
Well, you
No.
got more than I had.
We're finished. These folks are all from Hugo.
Oh, this is in the cafeteria at the high school.
Mhm. Well, it used to be the cafeteria,
Well, what is it now?
theater.
It's still the cafeteria, but I don't know if anyone's eating there.
I think it's under construction.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be the dedicated to theater.
Oh, the old scoreboard.
There's Bill giving his graduation talk to the high school.
Mhm. You know what?
Look at the scoreboard up there. Whose names? Go to the scoreboard, see if we read the names.
I don't see our names, but I see theirs.
Oh,
But it's blurred.
can't read it.
Can't read it.
Can't make it out.
I'm thinking this probably is a dedication to high school. Carl Court, the band instructor on the left, and that's in the middle looks like Mrs. Lineberger. What if these are new teachers? I bet these are new teachers in 59.
Dorothy Lineberger.
Dorothea Lineberger. Carl Court. I don't know the other three teachers. If that's what it is.
Politics.
Community building.
Looks like a houseman here, doesn't it?
Man.
One of the housemans.
Politics. Oh, Bill Alexander.
Bill Alexander on the right. On the left is Jim Fortney. In the middle is, come on, we know him. Jimmy Fortney. Bill Alexander and well, Jim and Bill graduated about what, 60, 61?
61.
60 or 61. So this is probably 57, 58. We actually played basketball. You know, the high school opened in 59, but I think they played basketball in the gym. 58, 57, 58. They had a professional basketball game there.
Mm-hmm. St. Louis Hawks.
St. Louis Hawks with Bob Pettit and Clyde Lavellette and
I think I've
Philadelphia Warriors. They played the Philadelphia Warriors.
I think I've got a program or something from it. Then the faculty played the All-American Redheads.
Yeah.
And
on that,
Murray got mad.
on that St. Louis Hawks team was Cliff Hagan.
Yep.
Who opened up Hagen's Ribeye in Champaign, now called the Ribeye. Cliff Hagen's Ribeye. Clyde Lavellette went down to Terre Haute and was elected sheriff on the platform of closing down Cherry Street. Remember?
Disappointment.
Now there's that Branahan girl on the second from the left, I think is that Vonda Branahan, the homecoming queen.
I think that was me just admiring.
You're starting to learn your technique as a chick magnet.
I was trying to work my way into the group.
Who are the other cheerleaders though? We know every cheerleader in the history of Tuscola. I don't know what that is.
Looks like our trial.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's 1957.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Judging from the annual report here.
David, where do you pick all these techniques up at?
I pick them up from you.
Oh boy. Nap time.
And this is at the community building and got several of these. Let's see, I do have comments on this one.
Stewart.
Go ahead,
Georgia Stewart.
Georgia.
No.
Ray Anthony Ron had Travis Ron says this one, and Travis Ron says, yep. So I don't know what that means. And then Travis Ron said Merle and Norma Ron and back on right.
Yes, that's Merle Ron, the big tall fellow.
Yeah, I don't have any names on this one.
That's Ray Wax.
And is Ray in the middle is Ray Wax from Newman, head of the Farm Bureau, big farmer in Newman area. Another Newman guy next to him, I think it is.
I don't have any names on this one either.
These guys are from Hinesboro.
Yeah.
If we don't know them, there we are. This is the Illinois Farm Bureau.
And that's playing the Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown. That's George Clooney up there.
Mm.
Here's a Reverend John Jones on the right. My classmate Bobby Jones's dad. Wonderful, wonderful guy.
I was gonna say the Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, but we got John Jones here. Are these all the ministers?
You know what? Third one from the left, I think, is Robert Sterrett, who was the preacher at the Presbyterian Church when I was a kid.
I think this might be the Ministerial Alliance,
Mm-hmm.
here to bless the community building and all the dances at the WIC that are maybe morally sanctioned.
Gyrating virgins.
A sea of gyrating virgins.
Dapper dressers.
Well,
Oh boy, looks familiar, but I can't give it to you.
nope, he's getting an award.
You know?
I don't have any names.
No, I thought we saw that.
We saw that one before.
That's the same one.
That is the annual burning of the old house.
Yeah, there's a fire going in the background.
I don't recognize the house, do you?
Wait a minute, back up.
Is that your
Is that the funeral home on the back in the corner? Didn't that look like funeral home? See the top of that?
Waddington? The old
Yeah.
Waddington? Could be. Maybe they had cremation back then and we didn't know about it.
Possibly.
No, David, you know about this one.
That's a printing press, but I don't know who's operating it.
That's the old days, isn't it? Now you just, pretty soon you'll just speak into a camera and say, Lexi, what's the name of the gal you talk to? Siri?
Siri, this was
Oh,
hard
Siri.
work, is what this
Siri,
was.
print me out the Chronicle for this week.
Mhm.
It'll be out in 2 minutes.
Yeah. A little longer than 2 minutes, but
Well, you could use
I'm talking-
AI. They could do
I'm
the
talking
whole
I'm
newspaper.
talking about the future.
The
Right.
AI could do the whole paper.
In 10 years, they will.
this was hard work.
It used to be super hard. My Aunt Jean used to work for the Linotype. I went over to Indianapolis Star and she set up the Linotype. It was physical labor.
Wait a minute.
I think these are,
Is that Ruby Mata?
could be. I think these are new teachers at school back then.
Bill McCord says second from left is Mrs. Dixon. She was my music teacher from second grade through high school in Arthur.
Well, could be, yeah.
No.
There we go. This is I wrote the Tuscola history football book. I should know this one. That's looking west, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it is. See, there's
There's that house over
yeah,
there.
that house over there.
Jim Helms, and that burned down. Where else? This would be well, if I could recognize somebody, I would.
Back in the old days, you know what? I had one of those leather helmets. They gave those things away. I'd give anything to have it back. And then didn't wear a face mask
It looks like
when boys were men.
Susie Bolt Kingery says, not sure the second from left in stance could be her dad, class of 49. I'm not sure this picture is quite that old, but
no,
could-
I was guessing 53, 4, 5. Thought I saw Ronnie Schultz there, maybe. Larry Little, Junior Decker. I don't know if that's that 53, 4, 5 team or not.
Carl Quinn would have been center, wouldn't he?
Carl Quinn would have been a guard, I think.
neat
I don't know.
picture.
It could be. Oh, I don't know. That's Dave Porter on the left.
That's Dave Porter.
Wow. I've got a stiff neck leaning forward.
Golly.
We got to go out and go to bed. We're tired.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of pictures this week, but we got through them.
David, I think you made an important point there when you said, I would say 80% of these pictures, maybe 90, were never in the paper. And some of these people are for the first time seeing their mom or dad or siblings back.
Because a lot of these people aren't here anymore.
Yeah, you can see it. They better hurry up and show you and I our pictures
I think
now.
we better get them now. We're,
We've
Hurry
had
up
a
and do
few,
65, 66 now.
we've had a
Well,
few
Bill-
pictures of you guys.
Yeah.
Even found a few pictures of me.
Yes, we have. Class of 83. David, thank you for, I love these older pictures. These are wonderful. And
a
thanks,
lot of fun.
thanks for weighing in on some of the people who, you think people still get a kick out of looking at the old Tuscola pictures or not? Some
People
people.
Oh, I think a
Love
lot
them.
of them do. Yeah, they love those pictures.
Are Bill and I still considered the general masters of the genre?
You guys are the
What's
kings.
that mean?
I don't know. Sounded good, didn't it?
Oh, you know, our group page has over 4,000 members. So, and the pictures are what has brought a lot of them in.
Well, I think this is even more important, David, now that you have a county white paper and not dedicated to just Tuscola. I think it's even more important for the history of
I think-
Tuscola.
Now,
You
if
need to-
everybody who belongs to this group would subscribe to the newspaper, we would be able to keep the newspaper going.
Let's promote our part in this again, the three of us. We used to have our picture in the paper.
I'll try and get that back in. I just ran out of room. I left a lot of stuff out this week.
Well,
There are 32 pages. I couldn't get everything in.
no, that's true.
Well, if you go to 48, you could have 2 or 3 pages on Bill and I.
I'm kind of maxed out at 32, so.
Well, David, I know you got your hands full, and we appreciate, despite all you got to do, that you're still doing this.
And David, it quit raining there.
Yeah,
It stopped here too.
all clear here on the south side of town.
Freshman game at Sullivan tonight.
I may come down Friday or Saturday and just check out, see if those cigars are as good as you say.
You know, it just occurred to me that Mike, your house and my house are about as far apart in Tuscola as you can get.
And yet I can still smell your cigar smoke.
I'm actually not in the city limits.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm on-
You are that far apart.
It's probably a 2 mile, over 2
Oh,
miles.
it's over two.
So gas, yeah, that's gonna,
Hmm.
back and forth, that's half tank.
Probably pretty close to 2 miles.
Yeah,
Tuscola's got the cheapest gas anywhere, I think.
Tuscola's, you gotta say that. You gotta say this about Tuscola, we got cheap gas.
Okay. Well,
David, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Have
speaking
fun.
of cheap gas, I'll talk to you guys later.
It's getting more expensive every second.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.